All right, everybody, welcome in to this week's episode of the DNVR Rapids podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Carroll, and I'm joined, as always, by the illustrious super producer, the superest of super producers.
Also the
cutest, live from Studio B. It's Yahya. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing today?
Fantastic, kinda. Just trying to kick this COVID bucket. Almost there. Hopefully I'll be back for game 2 watch party at the bar. Just kind of working my way through, man. It's been a brutal week, but we're back. We're talking soccer. We got a lot going on, man. There's the of course tomorrow night's matchup with SKC. There's a little notes to wrap up from the LAFC win, and there's like the thing that took over soccer Twitter today, the rumor that never dies and has popped up now. This is its 5th straight end of the season rumor year where Lionel Messi is coming to America. 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. It's popped up and it's popped up again today, so we're going to talk about it. But first, let's wrap up notes from this weekend.
Real quick, before we get any further, I want to ask you, are you a soccer guy or a football guy?
I'm a soccer guy.
I'm a soccer guy. I just wanted to make sure I'm a soccer guy. I'll say football sometimes because I speak Spanish.
Yeah, you speak Spanish.
But if I'm talking English, I'm a full-on soccer guy.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think my take is that it's weird if you care if I call it one thing or the other. Not you, the royal you, everybody. You know, I think like.
Well, damn, Mitch, you too.
What?
You're over here attacking me because I asked you a simple question.
No, I don't mean. I'm not saying right now. I'm just saying in general. Like, who cares? Like, we know what we're talking about. There's no like, you know what I mean? We're not Anglophiles over. Like, call it football if you want. I'm not. I know what you're going to be talking about.
I don't care.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So soccer time. No. Leandro, hopefully when Messi arrives, they will modify the football for soccer. Well, that's asking a lot of one guy, but could happen. I'll call it that. Sure.
He is the greatest player to ever walk this earth. So.
Ooh. Yeah, you're a Barca guy though.
Yeah, I'm a big Barca guy. I'm super down.
All right, looking back real quick on Saturday, Rapids get a huge 2-0 win over visiting LAFC. Man of the match went to Austin Trusty, which you love to see. We both I wouldn't say we were critical of him early in the season, but we both were kind of noticing that he wasn't putting in his best performances until the last few weeks. He's definitely ramped it up, and I think he's playing as good as he has in a Rapids jersey, I'd say, in the last few games. He's been really active, getting up and down the field, becoming a threat on offense, holding down that back line. Also pretty cool on that same day, he received his college degree, which was pretty tight to see. So he man of the match, big win over top of the table and gets his degree. It's a pretty solid Saturday.
Yeah, I want to be the first one to apologize to Austin. I think I was the harshest one about all of us.
Whoa. Harsh, yeah. That doesn't happen a lot too. That means you were fucking up if you were.
That's my biggest thing, man. I love Trusty. I loved him since last year.
Yeah.
It was more of a frustrating thing with him because I know how good he can be. Mm-hmm. I'm so happy to see him get back into form and win man of the match. And then congrats on the degree that same day. That was super awesome.
Yeah, man. I think that defense really showed out, and they have a very favorable stretch to continue looking really good, right? Like, not just this week, not just tomorrow night against Sporting Kansas City, but against Seattle, and then who's the game after that? Doesn't matter. It's a week one.
Would you be shocked that if I told you the Rapids have 5 games in 15 days against San Jose, Minnesota, LAFC, SKC, and the Sounders? Would you be surprised if I told you the 2 games they lost was against Minnesota and San Jose?
No.
And they won every other game. I'd be really shocked. I'd be on the other side. I'd be like,
I think I would have been shocked 2 months ago. Now it's like that's about as Rapids as it gets, right? Like they're Jekyll and hiding us, and they show up for the big games and they've gotten sniped by these bad teams. Which, I do think that some of those bad, what we thought were bad losses are turning out to look a little better. Like, I think that Dallas loss looks a lot better. They've been playing really well. But I mean, they're coming off the win of the season. I don't think it's even close. I don't think there's another contender. that's a huge win. They're back in a playoff slot. They're at 7. And then tomorrow night, 13 Western Conference out of 14 Western Conference teams are playing. Like there's going to be some movement on that table, right? There's going to be some separation.
Sure.
They're tied with Houston, Nashville. There's another team they're tied with on points.
I think they're right below Real Salt Lake.
And then Real Salt Lake's 2 points up above. Yeah. So there's, they're all separated by goal differential. And then I think there's another one that's just tied by head to head. That might be the Houston tie that's keeping them out of 6th place. But, it's going to be some movement here. And I think you ride this momentum from LAFC and you turn that into win streak time, right? You have SKC, who's injured and bad, and you have Seattle, who hasn't taken the MLS season seriously yet, although they did have a nice win over Minnesota on Sunday at home. So, I mean, you have any other kind of bigger picture takeaways now that you've had a couple of days to marinate on the win?
I just think the Rapids are going to be fighting for that home playoff spot. I think they'll be comfortably in the playoffs. I think it's going to be a big, where are they going to land? We've seen it with Zardes when Zardes comes in, it's a huge difference. Mm-hmm. It's been like when you get a full team, when you have Zardes and Rubio in there, the team just plays completely different. They're attacking all the time. So I'm all for it, man. I'm really excited. I think they'll be fighting for that.
And not just that, having Danny Wilson back, having Jack Price, having the captain, obviously. Logan F says, I think the criticism comes with the territory being one of the most expensive players on the roster. The Rapids should want results from Trusty. That's fair. And he had a rough start to the season. And I don't know if that was just getting into shape, injuries with the players next to him and not building chemistry. I don't know what it was, but he's playing as well as I've ever seen him play in the last few games. So granted, that's a pretty short sample, but he knows he needs to go into July looking as good as he's ever looked. Right?
I think he's back. I think he's back.
Yeah,
it's just kind of sad that we got him towards the end of his Rapids tenure instead at the beginning. But again, I'm all for it, man. I wish him nothing but the best out there in England. He'll make me an Arsenal fan for sure. Him and Marcelo Flores are gonna put me through some pain, and I'm all for it.
Dude, don't submit yourself to that if you don't have to.
I have to, man. There's a Rapid and a Mexican on that team. I have to go all the way.
Oh boy, Arsenal, man! What a week! Saturday alone was brutal. Sunday. Sunday was brutal for Arsenal. / If you're a Tottenham fan, it was great. If you're not, yikes! Tough one for Arsenal. I guess the biggest thing you can take away from that is basically it was a big win, and we're moving on to Sporting Kansas City. And if you blow it, people are going to be bad again, right? So it's like, cool. You got a very short time to use this win as fuel, right? Because you're back Wednesday night on the road against a rival, and that rival's hurting. So I guess don't rest on the win. It was a great win. It was the win of the season in my mind. But at the end of the day, there's not much you can. Yeah,
you have to build on it. It was a great win, great moments. Trying to make that moment into a turning point. So absolutely, it's just you got to keep it going. You can't just rely on that one win.
Totally. All right. Well, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. The rumor, of course, that exploded soccer Twitter today. Apparently, Lionel Messi in 2023, so he's going to play another season at PSG and then is on his way to Miami with a 35% stake in Inter Miami with David Beckham. This is now the 5th straight spring with a Messi to Miami rumor. He owns a luxury condo in Miami. He bought out the whole top floor of a fancy building in Miami, and he spends a lot of time there. He likes Miami, but a lot of people like Miami and don't want to, ply their trade in Miami. None of the big reporters, it was like DirecTV Europe or something, or DirecTV Sports, or somebody like that, right? Yeah. It wasn't Fabrizio. It wasn't any of the Italian reporters. It wasn't any of the English reporters. It was DirecTV Sports, and the soccer world ran with it. Fox Sports had to, add a tweet afterwards that said, the source, or sorry, not the source, Messi's agent was like, there's no truth to this. This is false, not a thing. But every year it gets louder, and a 35% stake, and we talked about this in the work Slack a lot. So 35% is a lot of an MLS team. It's a lot. It's a lot of money.
See, I think all these people saying it's false. We talked about it. There might be some tampering issues there, especially because I think it's either 6 months or a year before you can talk to a player on expiring contract. I think it's a legit thing. I've been following Messi for a long time since I was a kid. I'm a huge Messi fan. And this year, man, at PSG, he just kind of seemed to stop caring. Seemed to just look for comfort. He left Spain. He just kind of wants to have a nice life now. That's what I think. I don't know him personally. If I did, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in his yacht, honestly. But I just think that he might be a little bit more like, hey, you know what? I might have to start thinking about my future. Owning 35% of a professional soccer team that's valued at about $500 million is not a bad investment for the future.
Well, I mean, if it sounds like, here's the thing about the MLS specifically, right? There's no real competition, right? Like, who are you going up against, right? It's not like English soccer. Like, English soccer teams got to worry about sharing their time with, the other big clubs in Europe, right? Stuff like that. Those are on at 9 a.m, 5 a.m, right? Latest is what, 10:30 in the morning. There's some Spanish games that go off at 12:30 in the afternoon, but you're not competing with anybody. So marketing, if you bring in a guy like Messi has no competition in terms of getting the best deals, the best like media deals and marketing deals, because all the other guys are going to be in Europe, right? Like, there's no Mbappe or Holland or all these young rising stars to kind of.
You are the guy.
You will be the guy. You might not be the guy on the field. I mean, you'll probably still be the best guy on the field, but like, it doesn't really matter because you're a legend, right? So,
exactly.
So it makes sense there. There's no relegation, so there's no chance you're going down to a lower level. You're always going to get the media deal. You're always going to get your TV cut. You're never going to lose that. I mean, it makes a lot of sense financially. Giant stadiums, right? Like, massive population in America that can grow into becoming soccer fans. It's a little shocking. League's not even 30 years old, right? There's no CONCACAF Champions doesn't really have the ring to it that Champions League does, right? US Open Cup doesn't have the Copa del Rey,
the
right?
FA Cup, the FA
Cup, or
even the Caribbean Cup, like the
Copa Italia, or right, the Deutsche Pokal. Like, those are trophies. They've been going for 100+ years. But that's a domino.
I think the US Open Cup has been going on for
but it doesn't have the
notoriety that every other one has.
But it's a domino, right? Like, if it goes through, and if he's here, and if he's an owner, now you have him tied to an MLS team for a very long time, right? More than just the 2 or 3 poor playing years you'll probably get out of him. I mean, they'll look good because it's the MLS. And if you score 15 goals, you have a great MLS season. He can do that here. But it's a domino, and it's like, okay, Messi's here. He's tied to it. Next domino falls, next domino falls, next domino falls. Then it's not crazy to be like, the Rapids are in contention for rising star X, who comes from country whatever in Europe, right?
Like, even if we kind of look at it too, the MLS has been growing at a rapid rate.
Oh yeah.
Super quick. You look at it, you look at all these young players that are coming from South America as a stepping stone to go to Europe now. They didn't even consider the MLS before. It was just kind of a retirement league. That was what it was known for a long time. So now, if you get a good mix of that veteran presence, you get those veterans from Europe, like Insigne. You're gonna get Chiellini that wants to come over here. You get Messi. You get all these players with a lot of U.S. players like U.S. players with this kind of base, plus these young South American kids. It's gonna start brewing into something very special, in my opinion. And I think it's gonna explode. It's gonna really it's gonna catch the attention of people around the world.
100%. I mean, you have kids coming from Brazil getting $1 million+ a year. That's a big contract. Like, I don't think, like, people see these big hundreds of whatever euros or pounds a week. They don't make, like, I think I was doing the math. Like Pogba only makes he makes less than $20 million a year, and everybody was like, "Whoa, Pogba's wages! Oh, Pogba's contract!" Like they don't get paid as much as you think. So like the MLS and those owners are all billionaires, right? They can, and then there are some rules that I'm sure as the league grows and expands, they can kind of lessen the rules on financials and all these this roster slot, that roster slot, this budget.
They did
that
it for
budget.
Beckham. They did it for
Right.
Beckham, and it was like the best thing the MLS could ever do to grow the league.
Right, and it's smart that bringing up Beckham is kind of where I was headed with this next. Is we've seen it really work twice. I think there's other things you can point to, but Beckham and Zlatan both came in with gas in the tank, I would say, right? Not, not prime of their career, goal scorers, best players.
If you ask Zlatan, man, he doesn't have a prime. He is all prime. So I don't know about that.
All the time, baby. Zlatan, the robot. I love Zlatan. But so like Messi will be an interesting test because he's had a disaster of a season in France, right? And everyone in Europe calls France the Farmers League, right? Because everyone needs a day job on a farm to actually pay their bills because it's they're not real soccer players. And while that's not necessarily true, there are some good teams there. Monaco's and
Lille and
Leo and Olympique Marseille, Lyon. There's it's not the worst league in Europe, but he should have been dominating, right? He should have double-digit goals, which he does not have. I believe he has 6 league goals. I think he has double-digit goals barely across competitions, but it's like 11 or something like that. So he does need to come in and score goals because the worst thing that can happen for him is to come in and not be good, right? Like that would be, to me, that would be the big worry.
Honestly, even if he wasn't good, man, I don't think they care. It's Messi. Right. You're watching a generational talent at maybe not his peak, but you're watching a generational talent. How many people can? We grew up with LeBron James. We're gonna go tell our kids we got to watch LeBron James play, whether you hate him or love him.
Yeah.
You're gonna grow up and tell your kids that you got to watch Tom Brady play, whether you love him or hate him. Same thing with Messi. Whether you love him or hate him, no matter how good he is, you're gonna go say, "I got to go watch Messi play live."
Yeah, I was credentialed for a game. I was in the press box for a game Messi played. Yeah,
I got to ask Messi a question.
Yeah, I mean that would be obviously I'm in for that. Of
exactly.
Course.
So even if he's not good, I think his legacy is already cemented.
Sure.
I really do think that
people talk about Jordan on the Wizards. People don't not talk about that.
Exactly. They'll talk about it and it's like, yeah, he was on the Wizards. But
although he averaged like 26 points a game or something on the Wizards, which no one talks about. Yeah.
It's just like his legacy is what it is. No matter what he does from here on out, he could retire tomorrow and he'd still be considered one of the top 5 soccer players of all time.
Yeah, that's fair.
No matter what.
Guy. Yeah, he's a Rushmore guy. Yep.
Exactly. So no matter what you do, no matter what he does at this point, whether he goes to the MLS, he goes back to Young Boys, whatever he does.
Oh, that would be sick.
He is Messi and everybody knows who Messi is.
Yeah.
One thing that his legacy is a lot bigger in Europe, around the world, than Argentina.
Yeah.
Because he has not been able to bring Argentina the glory they want.
Right, international, yeah.
Well, doesn't he have the Gold Cup? Well, he has the South America Cup, the
CONMEBOL.
Yeah, CONMEBOL. He has that, but it's still not the amount of trophies he should have won with Argentina.
Copa America,
Copa America, yeah. The amount of trophies he should have won with Argentina is still not there. If he doesn't retire, it's purely because of his national resume and not because of his club resume.
No, his club resume is only touched by one guy who plays for Manchester United right now, and that's like the only.
And even then, he has more Ballon d'Or than him, which is like what you rank the players. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like
the other guy, the other guy has literally the most official goals of all time. Right?
Exactly.
So that's your competition.
And like you go back and forth because then you look at it like, well, he has the most calendar goals in a year. It's like you'll just never stop, and like those two guys will forever be tied together.
Yeah.
But like going back to my point, no matter what happens to Messi, whether he comes to the MLS, he goes plays for New Boys, he goes back to Barca, he stays with PSG, he goes to Man City with Pep. So. Exactly. Like no matter what happens, he's Messi.
Yeah,
he's for sure. He could have the worst 5-year stretch, and it's not gonna matter.
And I mean, you look at it like he's not going to play for cheap, right? Like I do think Ronaldo is playing for a little cheaper, but not a lot cheaper, right?
Mhm.
But like, who's going to pay for a guy that can't score double-digit goals in France, right? Like pick a European powerhouse. Who's gonna spend that resources?
Nobody.
City just
But
went and got Erling Haaland. They're not going to like what.
But the thing
That's
is, like,
what he messed up. He should have that Haaland slot, and he should have had it all season. But he went to Paris instead, and that was the disappointing move, I think.
There's the thing they're saying: who's gonna pay for a guy that hasn't scored 10 goals in the French league? Nobody, unless you put the name Messi. Well, no, unless you put the name Messi in the back of that shirt, they'll pay for him.
And the thing is I don't think his wages are going to match. They can't afford. I mean, I don't think MLS rules allow them to match wages like that.
They'll change the rules if they need to. They do not care.
That's why they're trying to. That's why they want to give him 35% of a protein,
for
right?
sure.
Because that's the way. That's the way that you do it.
Well, it was that whole thing with it goes back to like John Elway here in Denver, that he was gonna get a percentage of the team, and he was like iffy about it because he didn't know what it was gonna be. And then the NFL vetoed it anyway. So we still got to see if the MLS will even allow it.
Yeah. Because then what is it? Just like a handshake deal? Because like,
like after you're done playing, I'll give you 35%, but you have to play for this one.
Right. Like how there's the rumor that like Dirk Nowitzki, has like a chunk of Mark Cuban's.
Yeah, that little rumor.
Set for later. Yeah. It's interesting, man. It really is because then, and this kind of came up in our work Slack, which like the Rapids Slack channel at DNVR has never had the attention it did until today. It
exploded with the news.
Shout out Adam for dropping it in there. And then the thing that the conversation kind of ended up as is at what point is Denver an option for a guy, right? And
Patrick had a great idea.
Patrick Lyons, DNVR
Patrick
Rockies,
Lyons.
Yeah.
Loved his idea where it was like bring in a Serbian guy and just have the Cronkies have that Serbian connection. And I'm like, yes. And then you mentioned Matic, and I was like, perfect.
I mean, Matic is not great, right? Like he's leaving Manchester United for a reason, not because it's some big sale. He's going on a free, but he's a Serbian, right? I'm sure Jokic would love it. They probably know each other. Well, I don't know. Jokic is weird. He might not know him, but
I think he knows him, dude. What I've heard, Jokic is a soccer fan.
Okay.
And
he's friends with Djokovic too, so that kind of maybe does know all the big athletes from Serbia.
And Serbia's not huge either.
Yeah,
and I think all those famous people, especially Jokic,
I don't think Matic would be crazy to bring over. I mean, he's a midfielder. He kind of plays in a CONCACAF style, right? He's kind of a statue out there, big, physical. It's not skill based, right?
For sure.
It would be interesting if there's ever a move for Kroenke to do. It's to be like, hey, we have the Serbian basketball god come be, the Serbian soccer star. I mean, Matic is not. I say he's not good because he can't hang, with a top 10 club in the world, but he would be one of the best players instantly in the MLS, like instantly, right? So like. Dude, bring him over. Kroenke, spend some money. That would be sick. It would be so sick. And like, they have the money. They have the money, right? So how many of these markets need to be filled with stars before it's like, okay, Denver doesn't have one. I can go be the guy there, right? LA, Miami, New York. Okay. Then are you going to go to Philly instead of Denver? I don't know. Denver's a pretty dope place to live, right?
Well, like that's what we were talking about, like the selling point.
Toronto's definitely an international city, so it makes sense that Insigne went there. But then are you going to go to Portland instead of Denver? I don't see why.
Well, you would go to Portland just because of the success of the team. If you're selling it to a player itself.
Colorado has a title, right? They don't,
yeah, but I think it's more like constant success that they're as a player you're looking at, because you want a track record of what a team can be. You know what I mean?
But they have the best team builder GM in the MLS.
We know that. We all know that.
Coaches. They have a beautiful stadium. It's a beautiful city to live. I'm just saying, like, I think I may have talked myself into from our discussion this morning.
Yeah, that it wasn't that. Yeah,
that it's not as far away as maybe I think it is.
It's not far away for sure. I really, really don't think it's far away at all. The thing is, I look at it. If we're looking at which teams might get it first, I'm gonna look at the big spenders, kind of like you did.
Yeah.
Teams that are more willing to spend at this moment.
Yeah.
I can see them going for a player like that in the next couple of years, and they make the playoffs this year and they go for a run. They make it next year and they go on another run, and then they're like, you know what? This team is a viable form. This team is in a viable form. It's gonna keep succeeding. The fans deserve to get some investment in this team, kind of like they did with the Nuggets, kind of like what they did with the Avalanche.
Yep.
After KFC has showed that after the team has proven to be a consistent winner, they're willing to invest. I think it all depends on this year and next year. What kind of money goes towards the Rapids?
It would help if the Rams won another Super Bowl too. Would go a long way there.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. I'd rather have the Broncos win that Super Bowl, but definitely, I know what you mean. Like,
all right, we're gonna dig into the Kansas City game here real quick, but first, let's talk about the homies over at Ivaca TV, the presenting sponsors of the DNVR Rapids podcast. Look, plain and simple. Are you able to watch those games at home, or do you have to pirate them?
Well, I can watch them at home.
Why can you watch them at home?
I have Ivaca and I love it.
You have Ivaca TV and you love it to death, baby. Yeah, Ivaca has all your major channels, right? You get all the sports you want, including Altitude, catch your Rapids games, AT&T Sportsnet, catch the Rocks, right? You also get some bios, you get some Rams, like you get all your summer coverage is done. You have your summer sports coverage in Denver. You're not going to miss any football games or anything like that. You can DVR stuff. You can, right? You said there's even on-demand stuff.
Yeah, there's some cool on-demand stuff on there. You can record all the Rapids games. Like, you missed it, go back and watch it. You can record the Avalanche games, Nuggets games. You also get to watch the Rockies. They're slumbering right now. They'll get back on track, in my opinion. You also get CBS. You also get Fox.
Yeah.
So during football season, you can go watch the Broncos or whoever your favorite team is. You also have the NFL Network, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So like you have so much options. If you speak Spanish, if you like Univision or TUDN or Telemundo, all those channels are on there too.
TNT for an ESPN for basketball and
so they don't have those, unfortunately.
Oh, they don't? Yeah. Oh man.
I heard a rumor they're working on it. I heard a rumor they're working on it.
Rumor that I heard / confirmed on Twitter about half an hour ago.
What is it? I want to know.
There's a channel on Ivaca TV now.
Hey guys, we're on TV right now.
We're on TV right now, baby.
So you can go to Ivaca and watch us right now.
You can watch our shows, including tonight's Avalanche pregame show, the watch along with Rudo, and the postgame show on Ivaca TV. Get Ivaca TV, man. It has all the sports you need. And guess what? We have a deal. Go to ivaca.tv/DNVR. Use promo code DNVR. You'll get $10 off your first 3 months. That's $15 per month for the first 3 months, plus receiver. No contracts, no hidden fees. Get Ivaca TV. Trust in Yaya. He wouldn't let you down.
No, I pay for Ivaca, man. I do like Ivaca. I don't think that it's like
Ivaca. Get this man a subscription, man.
Like,
get this man a deal.
Don't think like I truly do use Ivaca because I do like Ivaca. I think it's a great. You just plug it into your Wi-Fi or whatever you do. I have it landline, so it won't cut off.
Sure,
it works great. No issues at all for me.
All right, Ivaca, hook up the homie Yaya, man. He needs it. All right. Let's dig into it real quick. Let's get into this. Tomorrow night, Rapids travel to Kansas City to take on SKC. SKC is coming off just the weirdest scoreline I may have ever seen in my life. They lose 7-2 to Portland this weekend. Not just did they lose 7-2 to Portland this weekend. Do you follow? There's a Twitter bot that's there's two of them and they're paired. They're my favorite. One is F every team, and it just says F Manchester United, F Colorado Rapids, F, right?
Yeah.
Or it's praise every football team, and it says something positive about every team, right?
And I love this already.
And so they lose 7-2, and within 5 minutes of me being like, they gave up how many goals? Praise every football bot said the goaltender for Sporting Kansas City is so good. I was like, are you right now? This is when the bot decided to tweet this. It was perfect. It was funnier than if it just said F Kansas City. It was amazing. It was perfect. They are in a world of hurt, and the Rapids are coming off of their best game of the season. Here's the injury report right now. So this is for Kansas City, not for the Rapids. Alan Pulido out, knee surgery. Gadi Kinda, season-ending knee surgery, out. Nicholas Izamat-Marin, concussion, facial fracture, not playing. Ozzy Cisneros, hamstring, not playing. Questionable. Graham Zusi, hamstring, questionable. Johnny Russell, knee, questionable. Kiri Shelton, hamstring. Who are they going to play? If they trot out Zusi, Jonathan Lewis is going to make him look like Wile E. Coyote, and he's the Roadrunner. Like, he's like, what are they going to do?
I really don't know. I do not know a lot of I can't go into depth on them. Like, sure. I can't tell you their third string center back, fourth string center back, if I'm honest with you. But it's the Rapids are coming off their best game, how you said. They're facing a depleted SKC who just lost 7-2 against the Portland Timbers, who the Rapids just beat 3 weeks ago. What do you? I expect a throttling, a complete like 3-0 victory.
From the SB Nation SKC blog. They brought up on a short-term loan 21-year-old winger Julian Vazquez from SKC2.
That might be my cousin. Who knows? So much Mexican families are big, man. Who
knows? He's played basically every minute for SKC2. Has played pretty well, but they're expecting Russell and Shelton are probably both out. There's not. He came up through the Real Salt Lake Academy, so he's an academy product. But I mean, looking the MLS Next League is not an indicator of coming up and playing well. It's just not. Right, like maybe it is. Sure.
We don't know yet. There's not enough evidence yet.
It's not going to be fun for him to come up against this backline that he's going to have to go up against.
One of the best backlines.
And Wilson and Trusty in your grill all night is not going to be any fun.
If Jack Price plays, he's going to get a few elbows in that face too, for sure.
Yeah, so you're probably going to see Felipe Hernandez play a lot. He did have 2 assists on the 2 goals they put up against Portland, but I mean, this team is just hurt, right?
And then also there's
Cam Duke will probably play too.
And then real quick as well, Robert Voloder and Roger Espinosa both out due to suspension.
Yeah, I mean there's
nobody on that team. Literally nobody on that damn team anymore.
I'm so nervous, bro. I hate this. I hate
we're up here on our expectations right now. So if they like tie or lose, we're gonna be like,
dog, this is us being, and we've done this so much. It's like, hey, bro, Rapids, 4-0, bro, 4-1. Yeah, Rapids are gonna cruise this weekend. They don't have anybody. This team stinks. And guess what? They're gonna go on the road and lose 1-0 in the ugliest soccer game you've ever seen in your life, like that stupid San Jose game that we had to watch. And I'm just nervous. Tell me why I shouldn't be nervous.
One thing, I'll walk back my whole San Jose thing. They're a lot better than I expected.
No, they're not though.
Ever since getting rid of Thiago Almeida, they're playing a lot better. I forget their new coach's name out there, but he has them playing a good brand of football, more to their style. He's changed up a few positions for those players, so I wouldn't say they're on the level of the Rapids, but they're better than I expected. I'll give them that. Ever since Almeida left, they're better. But the Rapids still should have won that game.
Yes.
They should have still won that game.
Of course they should have won that game.
This is not like taking away nothing from the Rapids losing. They still deserve that like bad juju for whatever they did there. But I want to give some credit to San Jose too.
Yeah.
I want to give them. It's a couple weeks ago, but I've been rewatching it and looking in. I'm like, it's just not as horrible as I thought they were.
Okay, but tomorrow night, tell me why. Like, they might be down 4 or 5 rotation guys.
So I think you got to be positive, man, because this team is getting healthy. We've seen this team be healthy and be a lot better. every time they come out with Rubio and Zardes, this team just completely changes. It stops being that park the bus and counterattack team, and it goes on the attack constantly.
Mm-hmm.
They just came off a very convincing win against the best team
That
in
should
the
have been
league.
4 or 5. That should have been 4 or 5 nothing.
Exactly.
Honestly.
It wasn't even like
yeah.
it was 2-0 because it was 2-0. But how you said it should have been a thrashing. It should have been
it was. I mean, it was.
Yeah,
they dominated. Yeah.
It could have been like 5-0 on the score sheet, and I would have been like, yep, that seems about right to me.
Yeah.
I don't see any luck in here except for I just see all skill. So that's my thing. I think I'm just so confident in this team right now. The defense is getting healthy again.
Yeah.
We're getting Mr. Rapid himself.
Yeah. Okay, well, here's my health question then. If SKC is as beat up as they are, and Brian Acosta has been playing as well as he has, would you start him again and bring Price in for another 20, 30-minute stretch at the end of the game? Or maybe even not at all?
I think I would actually flip it. I would start Price and then bring Acosta for another 20, 30 minutes.
So have him play like 55, 60?
Yep. And I think that would be the perfect way. That way you keep the pressure with each sub.
Mm-hmm.
Let him get his legs underneath him against this team who's already depleted. Get him back into the field of the pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Then after that, bring Acosta in to keep his good form, reward him for what he's already been doing, and then go from there.
Yeah, I think that's the move. I don't know. That's probably what will happen. I think you should start Acosta and bring Price in for a little, or doesn't you just give him look. He's come back from hamstring, man. We do not want that hamstring to last. Hamstrings can literally, if it's not handled correctly, can last for the rest of the season and be a problem. So, let's just play it safe, man. Kansas City stinks. They stink. They gave up 7 goals to Portland. Portland looked like a USL team against the Rapids.
Exactly. Who the Rapids just beat.
Like destroyed. Like some comically bad performance in that game, and they give up 7 goals. So the Rapids should go in feeling confident, regardless of if Jack Price is healthy. Logan, shout out Logan, man, for real,
a real one.
That injury report has me feeling pretty confident too. That being said, the Rapids have only scored more than 2 goals one time this year. One game. It was against Atlanta. They scored 3. And that was it. That's all they've done. So I'm not saying they're going to go in and score 4 goals. I'm not saying they're going to score 3 goals. But I do think they win 1-0, 2-0, something like that. I don't think they give up a goal. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think tomorrow night is the game where Jonathan Lewis breaks through.
And I think that's going to be the key. That's going to be the key to the whole game.
He's the key to the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's the key to the team. I've had it back down on my J. Lou slander. I don't dislike him. He's actually one of my favorite players. I love how he plays I love when he plays.
He just doesn't finish. It's so annoying.
Yeah, and the thing is, I really do enjoy how he plays a lot. He's a fun winger.
Yeah.
My issue has been the starting role maybe isn't for him.
We'll see. I mean, I think this is a big game right now for him. I think he should feast. He should feast on
and that's my thing. And I want to backtrack on that because even though I love J. Lou, I can admit my mistakes. The last 2 games that he started with Zardes and Rubio, which was the Timbers and the Timbers in this LAFC game, he's been great. He's been dominating that left wing. I wouldn't change it any other way. If they keep playing Lewis, I'm all for it. If he keeps proving me wrong, shut me up, man. Yeah. I love it when you're making those runs. If you don't finish, that's fine for me because you're creating rebounds, you're creating chances. Your goal will come. It'll eventually get here. It is what it is. But I do love that creation that he's bringing the last 2-3 weeks in the MLS.
And the Rapids are 1-0 when Zardes and Rubio start together. So
I thought they were. Oh no, because he didn't start. He came in.
So 1-0 when they start. 1-0-0.
And the team changes completely. Like you just see, like Zardes' runs take so much pressure off Rubio because now there's multiple focus points.
But man, and then you have Lewis on the wing too. So you have Zardes pulling someone. You have Rubio kind of dictating it from that false 9. Well, Lewis is going to burn this back line. If Zusi plays, he's gonna they should not like if Zusi's like, I think I can go, they should be
Yeah.
like, no, I don't think you should go because Lewis will absolutely eat up that backside. Yeah, man, I'm going to call my shot right now. I'm saying 2-0 Rapids, Lewis with 1. And you ready for this one? Our boy Keegan Rosenberry gets his other one.
He deserves the goal. He really, really deserves the goal, man.
Absolutely.
He's been
one of the back line, but I do think it's Keegan. But
think,
Lucas, Keegan, it's gonna be those and then Lewis up top. It's gonna be these guys on the outside. They're gonna dominate this game tomorrow night. I'm calling that right now. And I hope when we're doing our post game after the show, it's not gonna bite me in the ass on that one.
I think Susie might have to go, man. Because if you look back at their NYFC game where they played great and they were able to get a point away, they had Ndembe, Volader, Ford, and Duke playing that back four. That back four is an average age of 23. Great.
Yeah, Duke's playing on that. Duke's playing out of position right now because of injuries.
Yes, but like they played great though. Like that, if you saw that game, that back line was amazing. They were able to keep Tati Castellanos and they out of the goal, and they were able to keep that like ferocious attack out of goal. With Voloder, well, I don't even know how to say his name. Voloder not playing because of suspension. Susie's gonna have to come in, and a lot of that load is gonna be on Courtney Ford. Who's been playing great. He's been playing great, but he can't do everything by himself.
I mean, I'm not going to give anybody at Kansas City playing great right now because they've been
terrible, I'll give Courtney his flowers. He deserves it. He's the next Rapid. He's an evil Lex that we love.
I certainly hope Zusi is out there. Don't get me wrong. I hope he starts, and I hope Lewis literally leaves him in the dust. Any other notes you want to get into for the game tomorrow there? Yeah.
Just kind of keep an eye out more than anything on the William Yarborough. See if he can get another clean sheet. I think he's gonna have a great game. And besides that, I also want to keep an eye out on Rubio and Sardis. We still need to come up with their celebrity nickname, but
we'll get there. Those
are the only two I really care about.
Where's Waters when we need him? I'm sure he'll have something good.
He's a huge Sardis guy.
Big Zardes guy. Yeah, big. Love Zardes for sure. All right. Well, tomorrow night we're gonna have some homies on for the post game, and we'll also kind of turn that into a preview show for Saturday's matchup with Seattle. Or sorry, Sunday's matchup with Seattle. Sunday. I keep saying Saturday. Sunday against Seattle. It's an hour early.
You get used to the schedule every Saturday, and then they throw in that Wednesday.
And then it's a Wednesday, Sunday. Yeah. So Sunday it's a 6:00 kick out at Dick's. So we get to come on a little earlier, maybe be a little less off the rails by the end of that show. But we'll but for us tomorrow night, we'll have the whole crew on. We'll be talking PIDs, post game and preview. Make sure you subscribe to DNVR Sports YouTube page. Hit that thumbs up, baby. Give us those thumbs up. Help the algorithm. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app, whatever that is. Give us nice reviews. All of that. Go to thednvr.com. Become a member. Get some merch. Get some t-shirts at the DNVR locker. Get your scarves. Wait. Oh, we didn't even talk about the scarves. We have scarves. We have 6 scarves, dude. They're dope. We'll show them on the show tomorrow night.
For sure.
But they're sick. Sick. Get them. Get yours. I have them ready to ship. Get them. Follow me on Twitter, Mitch__Carroll. That is Yahir G_Vazquez. Follow him. And more important than all of that, baby, up the pits.